What's up, everyone? Welcome to a special episode of the District Gooner Pod. I'm KP, joined by my good friend and co-host, Steven.
Howdy.
On this episode, while we're on international break, we are going to talk about the PFA Premier League Team of the Year, and we'll also talk about the Champions League draw and the overall setup of the competition. And we'll talk about Arsenal's Carabao Cup draw against Brentford, and then we'll close out the episode with a few hot takes, as we always do. So stick with us, and let's jump in.
Ooh, I'm about to dive in.
Into the deep end. Different song. I've never been good with songs. You can take that to the bank.
True.
So let's talk about the Premier League Team of the Year, the PFA Awards. This is, of course, voted by their peers, so that's always one to watch. And 4 Arsenal players made the team, I believe. Wait, is it 4?
4. We got Ramsdale, we have Saliba, Odegaard, and Saka.
That's pretty good. That feels like the spine of the Team of the Year.
Very cool. I mean, City dominates the list, which is fair.
Yeah, tell the audience who else is on the list.
Because they won the treble. We have one dude from Newcastle, Mr. Trippier. Congratulations. From City, looks like we have Ruben Diaz, John Stones, Kevin De Bruyne. Respect. Rodri. And then Erling Haaland, of course. From Spuds, looks like Harry Kane. I think that rounds out the list. There's only 3 teams noticed on here, so City got a bunch.
4 teams noticed. Well, I mean, it's fair that you don't really notice Tottenham.
Okay.
I get that.
Yeah, but very cool. Got 4 dudes on there. Who of the 4 is probably your biggest surprise?
Ramsdale's a surprise.
I agree. Why is he your surprise?
He's a surprise only because I don't think the stats really back it.
No.
So if you're a stats whiz, you probably don't like that choice.
Mm-hmm.
But from a player's perspective, this is the player's vote.
Yeah.
So the players, his peers, are saying, I don't know, this guy is kind of special. Some of the saves that he's made, some of the one-on-one saves that he makes are really good. And especially last season, there were a few games where he made incredible saves. I think he had the save of the year with the one against Salah against Liverpool.
He's got it in his bag. Yeah.
He's got a few of those like cat reflexes in the bag. So
yeah,
I kind of get it in some ways. But I understand from a stat whiz where you're just like, I don't know, I don't think he should have been it.
Yeah, he's my surprise. Saliba, no surprise at all. I think he had a fantastic season. Odegaard, of course, highest scoring midfielder. And then Saka, star boy, get him in. But Ramsdale, that's an interesting one. I mean, I guess who else would I vote for? Maybe Ederson just because they won the treble. But it is cool that the players voted for this and they voted him.
That is pretty cool.
So I like that.
I agree. And a lot of the other players, like Alisson is probably in the shout.
Mm-hmm. Tough season. They had a tough season, though.
But they had a tough season,
that's
right?
Like, yeah.
So
the only person I can think of is Ederson, I guess. Even maybe Newcastle. I don't remember how good their defensive record was. Nick Pope had a good season.
Pope, yeah. They had the least amount of. I think they had the most amount of clean sheets.
Maybe Pope would get a shout, but
tied with Man City, I think.
But the fact that your peers vote you that means you got a presence there, which is cool. I think that's cool.
So yeah, in a way, our fan base actually is kind of underappreciating what we have. and honestly, Raya is kind of close to being in that shout. Maybe we just snag like another like top 10 goalkeeper, man, just for the heck of it. So anyways, that feels like a good transition to then go into the Champions League.
The Champions.
How cool was that, dude? How cool was that music and that draw day, huh?
Yeah, very cool.
It was so different than just waiting for the Europa League draw to come out. Like, I'll read the press release. Who did Arsenal get? Let's see.
Let me jump in real quick. Since the last draw is today, here's Arsenal's last Champions League 11 from 2017. This is a post that I found. In goal, Ospina. Right back, Hector Bellerin. Then it's Mustafi, Koscielny, and Monreal. I like Nacho, and I did like Koscielny back then. Mustafi, get him out. But that's our back line. Our midfield, Xhaka. I did not realize that. I didn't realize he was on a Champions League team.
He was, yeah.
I'm surprised by that. And then it was Oxlade-Chamberlain and Aaron Ramsey.
Oh, Ramsey, man.
Take a guess at the front three.
Ramsey would vibe in this current squad, by the way.
Yeah, I think he would too. I think that left 8. Hey, but front three. Who do you got?
Was it Shamanakov there? Was it Yaya Sanogo up there?
2017.
2017. I don't know, man. You gotta tell me.
No, Alexis.
Oh, okay.
Giroud.
Okay.
And Theo.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Walcott,
I should have actually guessed all.
Yeah, you could have got at least one of them. I thought you would.
Under pressure, I just had none in me, dude.
That's our last team in the Champions League. How things have changed.
Wait, hold on. Some cops are going by, but that comes with living in the district. There's gonna be sound, so get used to it. My dog has.
I hope everybody's okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Bless up.
So let's get into the draw. Group B.
Group B. Who's in it?
We got Sevilla, Arsenal, PSV, and Lens. How do you feel?
I feel like it's a tricky draw.
Tricky?
I think it's a tricky draw because Sevilla, if they're not too focused on getting into Europa League to win it, and they really try, I think it's a tough game away and tough game at home. They're a good counter team, I feel like.
Sevilla's good.
So that's always hard. PSV, we just played them in Europa last season. They weren't easy games. So, and Lens, who knows? Because I also want to see the real squad rotation come into play now. So, who knows? Is Smith Rowe going to get time against Lens? How's that going to go? I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. I like the draw. I think first time back in the Champions League, I think the worst thing that could have happened to us is we get two other big dogs in our group, and then if we flame out, that just wouldn't be leave a good taste in your mouth. This is absolutely a winnable group. I think Sevilla is going to be the most challenging because they're a team that is a cup competition team. They're notorious for it, right?
They are a cup competition team.
Maybe. Honestly, maybe since they rule Europa, maybe they want to drop down. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're going to be a tough team. PSV, like you said, we had a good game, I believe, last year.
It was a good game. That's where Xavi Simons was making some impressions, man.
Cool. He was cool. But I think and then Lens. I think we should win the group. Absolutely get through. But that's my
expectation is to win the group.
Yeah, absolutely. Win the group.
That's fair. Any other groups that you want to call out in the Champions League? Any particular matchups you're looking forward to?
Well, we got to hit the group of death because that's actually a decent group. So it's Group F: PSG, Dortmund, Milan, and Newcastle. What I'm actually interested in this is all three of those teams. So PSG, Dortmund, Milan. Those are three very big teams. But having to go up into Newcastle on a rainy night in Stoke, that kind of vibe. They're gonna have to
that
go
would
up
be cool to see Mbappe at Newcastle, man.
Yeah, they're gonna be traveling to Newcastle. Those they're crazy. At St. James Park. I think that's actually gonna be cool. Do I think they're gonna get through? No, but I think it'll be cool to actually see a game. Some of these big teams going to Newcastle, because in the area we've watched, Newcastle's never really been decent at all. They've just been kind of a team mid-table.
Dude, so I tell you what, man, as you were talking, I recognized that almost every episode we forget to do, one thing. And this episode, I feel like some of the lighting behind me is missing. Can you plug that in, dude?
This is gonna make a big difference. Here we go, chat.
Let me put some hold music while we do this. All right, welcome back. So, no, I agree. That group is really cool, and that's a really good shout about the matchups. I mean, seeing some of the Dortmund players and the PSG players show up to Newcastle, I'm sure that's going to be fun. The rest of the groups, they seem pretty straightforward. If you're a betting person and you're looking at these, I mean, I'm not, but I imagine it's pretty easy to pick one or two out to just come out of these groups. I mean, I'm looking at this Group C, for example. That's a no-brainer, right? A lot
of these teams are top-heavy, I would say.
That's why Arsenal's group is tricky.
No, I mean, yeah. What's tricky about it is there's not a clear two, I guess. The clear two to me is Sevilla, but them and PSV I could see.
I'm loving your confidence. By the way,
yeah,
that's awesome.
I don't see it, but a lot of these other groups. So Group A, Bayern United, Copenhagen, Galatasaray. Like,
I guess at this point it's just a matter of who do we draw first in the 16, right?
Yeah, I think so. City's group, it's pretty straightforward. Barcelona's group, straightforward. But who knows? This is football, so we'll see.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool to see. I don't see a whole lot of upsets. The Group E is low key kind of, I guess, fun to watch if you want to see like Atletico Madrid, Feyenoord, Lazio, Celtic. That feels like there could be some fun games there.
With Madrid, with Madrid, there's always some drama. So
yeah, that voice in me on it. All right, let's turn our attention to another cup, but this time domestic. And Arsenal have drawn Brentford for the third round of the Carabao Cup. It will be away. It will be late September. Sorry. So, and then I guess my big question is, one, it's kind of fun. It's a league game. It's against Brentford. Will this be Rayo's debut? Is my first question.
Yes. I actually read something today that he got, Arsenal got permission from Brentford because he's technically on a loan. They got permission to play him in the cup.
Okay.
Against them, so I'm banking on him playing. So I'm cool with that. I'm glad to see him in there. I'm usually not a huge Carabao Cup guy. I'll be honest with you. Like, if we made it to the final, like, I'd be stoked. But I'm never invested. But this one, I'm a little bit more intrigued just based on who's going to play.
Who is going to play?
I think we're going to see. I want to see Smith Rowe. I'd love to see Smith Rowe.
It's late September, so there's a few games that are going to pick up, and I think just before we play Tottenham, and I think there's going to be games in between. So starters are definitely going to need some rest.
Yeah, there's players that I'd love to see play, and I'm starting with Smith Rowe and then Reece Nelson. I think getting them on. I'd just like to see him play.
So does Smith Rowe play 8 for you?
Yes. Okay. Yes, he does. I think Arteta needs to play him where he sees him fitting in. So wherever that be, I think it would be even worse for your mental if he's not looking at you at the left wing ever, and then he puts you there just for a Carabao Cup game. Like, I wouldn't like that as a player. If I know I'm potentially a left 8, play me there. That's why I want to play that game. Go from there. That's what I would do.
That's fair. Who else do you want to see featured?
Reece Nelson. I want to see him play. Back line is there's so many ins and outs. I really wouldn't mind. I guess Kiwior has to play. I'd like to see him get some minutes. And then Fabio, get him start. I don't know if he's going to start.
So does he play Odegaard's role or does he play Saka's role?
No, I'd probably put him at the right 8. That's where I'd probably put him. And then striker, obviously, we got the 2 interchangeable ones, Eddie and Jesus, so we'll see in the next coming weeks. And Trossard. Trossard's not getting a ton of minutes. That's just as of today, of course, like you're saying. We got some time for those decisions to be made. But there's plenty of players. We could almost do a full rotation, which is great, and have a strong team.
The team is really deep, and maybe this is just a moment to take the conversation somewhere about the only position where I feel like we're so light on is Saka's backup.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Does that worry you in any way?
If he goes down, absolutely.
Well, he's going to play every game, and
like
any game he plays, it seems like he's going to play from first whistle to last whistle. So,
like he has for the last 2 years.
And you add Champions League on top of that.
Yes. I like Reece Nelson. Like, I think he showed something in the game too against United. He just has a different element to him.
It's very under the radar.
Yeah, but I like the idea of also Fabio Vieira there possibly, but I think him in the Odegaard position is probably more important if our midfield isn't as strong. But who knows? Maybe we're going to get to the point where Kai Havertz is in there instead. I don't know. But the player I want to see the most is Emile Smith-Rowe.
You know a player who is just not even on anyone's talking points is Mohamed El-Neni.
Isn't he still hurt?
He's still on the squad, right?
Yeah, he's still on the squad, but I think he's still hurt.
He's still hurt? How is Cedric still on the squad? You think we'll see him in the Carabao Cup game?
It's time to go!
I mean...
He's still hanging around. I think Jorginho's going to play, which is cool.
Sure.
There's players that are going to play.
I think Jorginho's going to play a lot of Champions League games if Tommy Partey's...
I think there's players that are going to play in the Carabao Cup that can really maybe edge themselves in, even just substitution appearances. I think he's going strong, very strong in Champions League, and obviously very strong in the league. Carabao Cup is the only competition where there will be openings for certain players, and if they need to take them.
And the FA Cup.
Yeah, when it starts. But I'm not right now, since the beginning of the season, that's...
Hopefully it's a situation where he says, listen, you're not really going to get time in the league. You're not going to get time in the league. But the cup is yours.
Yes.
This is yours. This is your position. Maybe when the final it's a must win, I swap you out. But until we get to the final, this is your position. So treat it like that as a league starter, you know?
Yeah. It'd actually be nice to stay in the Carabao Cup so we can get the rotation, let people get minutes, and then of course by the time that rolls around to a finish, the FA Cup then becomes strong again. So hopefully we can make a run. Just for that factor of getting some rotation in.
No, I feel that. All right, man. For the next segment, there's two ways we can take this. We can go hot takes and talk about some things that we want, and we can also talk about some of these. This concept of a new era in football that's starting. So, which direction you want to take it?
Let's do a couple of the hot takes. I think we can get through a couple of them quickly. So,
all right, start us off, man.
Let's hit it. Eddie called up.
Eddie called up, man. Big man showed up for England, bro.
Yeah, very cool for him. I think it's actually very, very cool for him. He's been showing out for us. What do you think?
Yeah, I was very excited for this. Yeah. Very excited for it. I think it's well earned. But part of me is is Ivan Toney okay? You know, that's the only thing. But I think it's fully deserved, and he's worked so hard, and he's showed out, bro. These last 4 games, he has showed out, dude. He was present. The goal against Manchester United, the equalizer.
Yeah.
Eddie played a huge role in that.
Yeah.
That one touch, perfect pass to Martinelli. That's rhythm, bro. If you're on it, you're on your game, you're hitting that. If you're not, maybe Eddie tries to do a defender and take a shot himself, or maybe something else happens. It's just it was so nice to see, and I just feel like he's really elevated his game, and it's wonderful. It's good for him, man. Yeah. Give him his flowers. You know, I'm not gonna shy away from saying that 4 years ago I had doubts about Eddie.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But that was 4 years ago, Eddie.
Yeah.
The Eddie today, it's a different Eddie, dude. Yeah. And I'm glad that he's showing out, bro. I'm gonna back him right now. I'm backing him, bro. It's good. Go on, young man. Get your flowers.
Yeah.
In the under 21s, he's like he has the most goals for England.
He is highest goal scorer.
Dude, respect, bro. Put some respect
Yeah.
on the kid. Give him his flowers, bro. Come
about
on.
the other stuff too, besides being a goal scorer. He's that poacher type player, but he has become. I think playing with Jesus has done him so well. Playing with him, He has become an attacking. He's defending like crazy. That ball that was floating up on against Manchester United where he got that foul on Lindelof. Ball's just kind of sitting there. Boom! He just takes off and tries to win that ball, pressing keepers. So in the English squad, Harry Kane obviously is going to be the striker. But who's the number 2? Because it was Callum Wilson was in, but he's not getting any minutes. I don't know English number 2 right now.
Yeah.
Is that Ferguson from Brighton? Is he English?
He's English. No, he's Irish. He's
okay,
Irish.
all right, yeah, because he's good.
But apparently, he might be up to try to switch it at some point. I saw Roy Keane commenting on this on Sky about he better know.
I can see that. But yeah, no, shout out Eddie. Next topic.
Yeah, next topic, dude.
Pod favorite.
I want to talk about Tommy Partey, bro.
Tommy Partey.
He's hurt, apparently. But also, not for the first time in an Arsenal shirt. Right? You remember? Can you recall one season where this person hasn't been hurt for at least 1 month?
Nope. Always gets hurt.
So, top of mind there. Second thing, African Cup of Nations will come up in January.
Yeah.
So he's already going to be gone. He's probably prioritizing that competition anyways.
Mm-hmm.
There's already sell talks. I don't know. And the Saudi transfer window remains open. Maybe. I don't know if it'll still be open by the time this pod gets out, so don't quote me on it. But, I don't know. And I don't even feel that he can play the 6 role that we really want, because I think Jorginho is a baller, bro.
Okay.
If I only have 1 6, is it Tommy Partey? I don't know. It's Declan Rice and it's Jorginho.
So you finally made a question. So what is the take? The final question was, is it Tommy Partey? So what I want you to say it strong, and I want you to say it with your chest. This is hot takes. What is the take? What is the question you are asking?
I'm asking, what's the role of this person in the squad, dude? What is the role of this person in the squad? And if it's just a headache to get him on the pitch, I don't know. How much longer will we see him in an Arsenal shirt? First question.
Yeah.
Second question, is it even worth the headache to have all these questions?
Injury prone? Absolutely. And it's a shame. It came from Atletico. I don't think there was any issues with injuries, which is crazy.
The Arsenal way, bro.
The Arsenal way. Always getting hurt. It's always muscular stuff, which is the issue. People get knocks. They just because they're playing. The muscular stuff is always a worry.
He always has muscular stuff. That groin thing has been repetitive, bro.
Yes,
it's groin and hamstrings with this guy.
As much as they play, you can't get away from it. They don't get enough rest. You can't get away from it.
No, it's hard. It's very hard.
I think we sell him. I think it's come to that point. How old is he? He's about 30, I believe.
I think he's past 30. I can look it up.
I think it's time to go. I think it's just about time to go. I think the issue is also Jorginho. He's got this. This is his last year of his contract, at least his current contract. So he has 1 year left. You're pulling it up?
Yeah, it looks like he's 29.
Okay. Turned 30 this year. Turned 30.
Yeah.
It's June 2023. I'm gonna say that's 30 years old.
Yeah, no, he's 30. He's 30. No, that's fair. He's 30.
But I think we see this a little bit differently. I like Thomas Partey. I think he was a huge, huge, huge piece of becoming what we are. He was a staple of our midfield. At times, people considered him a Rolls-Royce type player. DMs in the league, last couple of years, he's a standout. Obviously,
he's up there.
Rodri takes the crown
there, for sure.
But Thomas Partey was huge. I do like your ambition. Maybe you're saying we're moving past him.
I think we are, and that's the point, right?
I like to hear that. Great player, but you know what? He's not straight for our style. We're moving past it. I like that.
I can tell you, maybe it was 3 years ago or so, maybe it was 4 years ago when he just joined the club, right? And I think there were a few instances, there were a few games where I probably texted you and I let you know that the way this guy can hit the ball 40 yards with just no backswing,
mm-hmm.
It's nasty, dude. Yeah. The way he lets the person get really close to him before he makes his pass is nasty, right? There were levels in the middle that we hadn't had in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the team is evolving, bro. I don't know, Chief. TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok.
I can see him leaving. I can see him leaving soon, just based off the injuries alone. Obviously, there would have to be another incoming. We don't have another backup currently for him. So Jorginho, but if his contract is up in the summer, he's also getting up there in age.
Well, I think that's why we were always linked with two center defensive mids. I think this is a known thing they have needed to replace Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka. Maybe they think they found their replacement in Declan Rice and Havertz. Maybe. But is it possible that they need to get a third person in there?
Yeah, but DMs come at a premium right now.
Yeah,
that dude Paulinho just moved to Bayern Munich.
The guy from Fulham.
Yeah.
That went through?
And he went for some money.
Dude, I don't think I went through.
All right, so it turns out Paulinho was not sold, but still stands. DMs are a hot commodity. We're going to go ahead and move on, though, to our next section. Premier League in general. This is not going to be Arsenal focused. We got a Reddit post here from crazy_ride20. And the question is, why does it feel as if a new era has started? I think that question is based on football's changing a little bit. Some notes that they made here on the post was Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar. They all left Europe. Harry Kane's left Tottenham. Boo.
Boo.
FIFA, the video game, doesn't exist anymore. And then Martin Tyler doesn't commentate anymore. So this is obviously a English perspective.
Yeah.
I think we see it a bit differently, so I'll throw it to you. Does it, even in general, does it feel like a new era has started?
It does feel like a new era is starting, that Arsenal might just dominate. They're definitely in the contention for dominating the new era. Just because the youth level and the squad that has been built, obviously someone on our side has kind of seen the writing on the wall about it all. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, there's been just general changes. I think the Saudis' involvement in football at an international level following the World Cup in Qatar has been a very, very interesting development. And on the one hand, it's exciting because you want to see that part of the world also be embraced and be involved in the beautiful game. And on the other hand, it's clubs competing as nation states. Mm-hmm. So it's just it's a completely different vibe than what it has been in the past. And I know there's been Russian oligarchs, but at the same time, having the turnover at Chelsea itself also feels like a new era is about to usher in.
And I think that's, you pegged it on. New eras always kind of start with changing of the guard. So Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, not in Europe anymore. I mean, that's just classic within any sport. Basketball, you got the Celtics and the Lakers. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and then it jumps over to Jordan, then it jumps up to Shaquille and Kobe, as the years kind of go on.
Yeah, LeBron's era comes along, Durant's,
So it's it's finally cool to see it because Messi and Ronaldo, man, they were started when they were so young.
So young.
And they dominated football for so long. And Messi's still kind of on top because he just won the World Cup.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does feel like a new era has started because those top names and even in the Premier League, they're getting a little bit younger. You got the Sakas, you got the Grealishes, Fodens, those kind of players coming through. But it all begins with the money. It all begins with this new era. I think money has really changed the game in general.
It does, and at the same time, it all begins with just a search engine turnover. That's all it is. So you look at the top scorers in the last season, and if you just ask like ChatGPT or like Google to just like spit that out at you, they will list all these players, and then when you look a little deeper, you recognize that there are players who match that same exact record. They are just not mentioned in the top 10 because of like their sort of keyword mentions, right? Like Odegaard had 15 goals or like 16 goals last year, and that would tie for being in the top 5 of Europe. But his name doesn't show up if you search for that because like a Harry Kane also had like 16 goals.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of it's very interesting, right? So seeing the search engine turnover is also going to be super fascinating because people will want just newer highlights. The days of looking for Ronaldinho highlights are just like maybe a little behind you. So, but that's fun. That's fun, man.
Yeah. So era changing from personnel. So Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe, they're probably the top 2 now.
They feel like the top 2 guys for sure.
You look up things, it's going to be always comparing them to, even though they're 2 different leagues. But who knows? Maybe one day, just like Ronaldo went to, I'm gonna match up with this dude in Messi in Spain. Maybe one day they'll do the same thing. But I want to say the real, looking at football as a whole, era changing. It's the money.
It's the money. It's the money era, bro.
Yeah. Even the Saudi League. So, referenced the Chinese League a few years ago. You remember
the Chinese League? Yeah, bro.
They got some big players to go over there. What's that dude from Chelsea?
That was a fun little 5-year project.
Yeah, on FIFA they got added, and it's kind of big money transfers for some players. Nobody huge though, but no, the Saudi League is going for it.
But they did pick out people at their peaks, like almost identical in some ways. Because Oscar, I remember very vividly. He was at the peak of his game at Chelsea, and then suddenly this guy went to China.
Get that bag, get that money. Obviously, if anyone that goes over there, I don't want to hate on them because generational wealth type situation. Bag, bro. Generational wealth type situation. We're not even going to get into the politics of Saudi and anything like that. I don't want to talk about that. Just in general.
But that's off limits on the channel.
It's in general. This is just a huge change. We'll see in the next few years. I would hate to see big players go over there, just for the sport in general. Talking about even giving Saudi teams a Champions League spot, man.
Yeah, there has been talk of giving them a little spot, dude. That would be kind of fun,
man.
They got
that bread, right?
There's a little bit of bread, but it's also just a little bit of opening up the game in some ways. I get it. Someone benefits ultimately, right? But it's not going to be you and me. So just let them. The same thing is happening in golf.
Yeah.
So there's clearly some moves being made, and that's fine. But at the same time, it's still just levels, dude. There's just levels, man. Let them have a spot in Champions League. That's fine.
Okay. Let's go away from even the Saudi League then. So City, Newcastle.
Yeah.
Potentially Manchester United with Qatar.
Manchester, yes.
That's different. And then there's
that does feel like a whole new era.
Then there's those teams that are buying. So it's they have their main club. It seems and they buy these little clubs off of them.
Yeah.
And potentially these feeder teams or whatever, but having now 2 Saudi teams in the Prem.
Yeah.
And Newcastle slowly make moves this summer. I was looking at their transfer list. They actually piled it up a little. I thought, oh, they didn't spend too much money. No, they had themselves a nice little summer.
Quietly, bro. Quietly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They just
That non-sponsorship, bro. Hey, non is good, bro. Hey, put your respect on non, dude. I'm just saying, bro. That's like, man, that's good bread.
Yeah.
If you know, you know, baby.
I know I have my feelings about it. Like, it's just not great. You don't want to see it go down that route, but it's all about the money at the end of the day.
It is, and there's this argument that COVID actually changed football in so many ways.
That's when the new era started.
In many ways, because in times of crisis, I guess is when you really have like big bankruptcies or the big like need for injection of money, and then that just presents opportunity for new players to come in, for new markets, for new stakeholders to say, all right, well, we're fine. We'll chip in. We'll take over this thing. And you're seeing it at different levels. Like Wrexham, these guys, these Americans who are just taking over. And it feels like a little bit too much like a movie, like a little bit of a documentary just unfolding in front of us. So there's a little bit of that to it.
Let's even throw the Americans. That's a lot of American ownership now.
So much American ownership, my goodness.
And then it's now even like trampled over by the Saudi leadership. I think it's just the loudest because they got the most money to basically inject teams with whatever they want. But yeah, the Americans, those owners, like they saw the potential of this league.
They saw it a long time ago, man. Yeah.
So TV rights, all that kind of stuff.
And there's definitely a change in guard also happening with just like American networks and streaming channels. Like Peacock. I think it's really cool that we have Peacock and this partnership with Sky, and we get to hear this like British commentary, because there really is like there's levels to everything, man. There just is. So this was actually very evident in the game against Manchester United. I think the Alexi Lawless of Britain was on the mic. So with Graham. What's his last name?
Graham Souness.
Yeah, dude. Oh my goodness. Can't be more biased than that lad, bro.
Not a fan.
But also, that's another place where there's a change in era happening of just commentary. Like people are.
They said Martin Tyler.
Yeah, and Peter Drury is doing his thing, bro. He is like Peter Drury Cam, dude. These guys are producing his stuff out and putting it on like cold audios. Yeah. It's nice, man.
Do you see? So as an American, MLS, we don't really partake in the MLS.
Fair.
I think it's just more about the product. Personally, it's also consuming it as a viewer. I enjoy early morning games on the Saturday and the Sunday. It's easy for me to consume it that way.
Totally.
Do you see the Premier League becoming like a staple in the U.S.?
It's starting to, especially with these like fan fests that they're holding. They're really cool.
They're trying to promote it here. You can tell.
And people are turning out for it. And honestly, this is one of the key ways of growing the sport in the country, because like this country should be able to compete on an international level at a much higher level than it does.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting, and it makes you think like 20 years from now, what will the pod be like? You just don't know.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. I think it's getting bigger here. Talking about changing eras, I know there's the saying of like it was once Serie A was the top league. I think then La Liga at a point was top.
Yes.
Now it's the Premier League.
This is a Premier League time,
as an English speaking, country predominantly. I think that becomes coinciding, with the English folks.
And that's what gives you the confidence of saying, well, it's just really a matter of who gets number 2 in our group.
Yeah.
Even though it feels like a tricky group.
You hit it on the head also with the commentary. The American soccer commentators are terrible. I do not like listening to that. But being able to listen to English commentary, it's just so much better.
Maybe I would watch an MLS game if it was commentated with someone who made sense, right? If it was with someone who I just felt like they understand the game at the level that I'm seeing it, right? Because it's I'm seeing it. I have eyes, man. So what you're saying makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Such an American way to do things, Yeah,
that's fair.
At the top of the box, he shoots.
All right. Well, with that, we are going to wrap this episode up. We will have a pre-match episode leading up to the Everton game, and we might do some more little charts and little talking points like we did today. So if you want to catch that, make sure you subscribe or you follow the channel, and we'll catch you next time. Yeah.
See you later.
This was episode 6, District Gooner Pod.